Hello, my beautiful co-creators. Lilou here. I'm in Maui, in beautiful Maui in Hawaii with Gaile. Hi.
Aloha. Aloha mae.
Oh, I love this. Oh my goodness, this is so exotic. This is incredible island.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
And I want to hear all about her story because we just connected through different people. And synchronicities has brought us together, and here we are doing this first interview of the Juicy Living Tour in Hawaii. Woohoo! And it's going to be a conversation of the heart. How about that?
Nothing better.
Tell us about your story, because I've heard bits of it and I want to hear the full thing. Because you actually lived a year ago in Los Angeles, and now you live here in this very exotic island, and you're called to live here.
Definitely, because it wasn't even on my radar screen. I hadn't even imagined this, living here, ever. And it's not like I had a vision to be here one day. It just came out of the blue, and really at a moment when I felt like I was losing it, like I was teetering on the edge of my own sanity, and I just got this hit, like, get out to a place where there's just more space and more room to breathe and connect with the land and the potency of this land and the water, the clean air, just everything intuitively rolled into one, and within a month I was gone.
It happened right after a breakup.
Yes, and the breakup was really intense. It wasn't like I handled it well. It was one of those things where I was inside of kind of an addictive, attached sort of alchemy that I hadn't realized. I didn't have any sense of that kind of scenario at that point. So when it ended, it was kind of like I couldn't breathe. I didn't know who I was. I was kind of lost in this mire of suffering. So it was really kind of the impetus to go.
And then the thing, though, in life and in society is that then the doctors give some medicine, and then you end up in that other trap that totally numbs you for actually feeling what needs to be felt in that moment, right?
Yes.
And that's where you were.
And that's where I headed. I'm like, I gotta get stabilized. I can't breathe. I can't think. All right, I'll see a psychiatrist. And wouldn't you know, immediately I was prescribed medication. That's just what they do. It's not bad or wrong, it's just their paradigm. That's what they know. And yet, as I was describing my life and my experience, it wasn't even computing for her. She just thought I was way out there, and yet my reality was not her reality. But how she knew to treat my experience of my reality at that point was through medication. So I was tranquilized. It's called Ativan. And this drug, it's called a benzodiazepine. That's its category in the pharmaceutical world, which, unbeknownst to me, you can develop an addiction to this drug within 6 days of taking it.
Oh my goodness.
6 days. So I'm taking it thinking, I feel like I can, breathe a little more. I feel okay. This is good. And then wham, I'm like taking it like I got to have it in the morning. I can't function without it. And it led to a dependency. And immediately I sensed that. And so by coming out here, my intention was to lead an untranquilized life, and just to revitalize myself. And in doing that, I chose to come off the drug, and I consulted with a company in Vancouver, Canada, actually, who guided me through the process of coming off of the drug, which was not easy. There were withdrawal symptoms, and Gaile got angry and like moody, and it was a crazy 3-month period of actually using a razor blade to cut down and slice down pieces of the drug each week with the guidance from this company. But it was really a systematic process, a true blue intention to be off this drug. And by the time I completed it 3 months later, the company said, this is a harder drug to come off of than cocaine. And congratulations. And that was, to me, like a defining moment in my life. I was so grateful to be pharmaceutical free, and that I had the desire to go through the experience.
So what did you discover about yourself as you were going through this process? What did you have to overcome, and what did that open up?
Thank you for asking that, because that was really a pathway to who I've become today, by understanding that I have a higher commitment to living a life, a juicy life. And it was really so inspiring to know that I took that under my control, to bring my life back, to restore my life force, and to connect with what's so real and here before me, this beautiful exotic, natural world, which became my ultimate healer. I called it Gaile and God time, that I just plugged into nature. And that's when I began to recognize the truth of my being, really.
But that must have been scary, though. I mean, a lot of us want to connect with nature, but there are some barriers. We're not really raised that way, and I guess it was the same for you.
Yes.
What has allowed this deep connection?
Well, being
that opening of the heart, because it's truly an opening of the heart. You definitely have an open heart now.
Yes, yes, and you're talking to a woman who's gone through life like with her dukes up, you know, like, I'm going to get hurt, and I don't trust you, and I've had a lot of pain, so that's what it was like, you know, like deflecting anything that felt good or fluid or loving. It was like, I didn't have the capacity to embrace anything loving. You know, my family was kind and loving, and friends were loving, but to really love and feel love and experience yourself as love, you have to be open to that. And so it cracked open here. It's an easier thing to do, in my opinion, in this environment where you're surrounded by nature. So that's why I began to be called to this place to open. So it requires your willingness to go there and then to do the work.
Yeah, but I love how you really listened to that voice. Something said, go to Maui.
Yeah.
And you didn't dismiss it.
No, I didn't. And it really, that's it. If people can just listen in and tune in, that you'll never go wrong. And I refer to the Hawaiian wisdom here that the na'au, this area here between the heart and the solar plexus, which actually can provide a sensory response to you. Like you feel something, the truth of something, like, is that where I need to go? You just listen from here rather than from the mind, which is a series of projections, and you reference it against what you already know, rather than be in this place where you tune in and you can feel that yes or not so much. It's a discernment. It's a capacity to really discern very seamlessly.
I love the journey, too, that you had from the mind to the heart, because it seems like a lot of us, that's what we're going through right now. Those are very important times to do this journey.
Yes.
There's many challenges to do that, or sometimes they need to be suffering. What would you recommend for people that are still in their mind? Where were you at before, would you say? How were you living life and seeing life, and how do you see life now?
There is a distinct before and after, and literally, Lilou, my life had been a series of disempowering experiences, and as a woman who's sensitive, highly sensitive, and tuned in and intuitively available, it was like being hit over and over and over. So I just began to shut down and to diminish my beauty, diminish my light, diminish my connections, and it was really inside of the key component, being more and more present to the extraordinariness in the ordinariness.
Yeah.
And to say it another way, it's just like yesterday I'm driving along on this island, and suddenly I could see a butterfly come over my car. I saw a couple walking down the street holding hands. I saw the local homeless guy making his rounds in the city. It was just like I was moved to tears. And it was so cool, because that is plugging into the sacredness of life, how sacred it is in its ordinariness, just to be present to that. And I think really the key component to dropping from the mind to the heart is in having more of those moments. The more often we just connect in to what's already here, and just like be with and what we hear, tune into what we hear. I hear a bird right now. Tune into your presence. There's a light here. Whatever we can see or hear or feel or sense, taste, touch, the more we do that, just a few minutes each day even, you just eat your meal with 2 minutes of presence where you're tasting every little thing and feeling the fork come in your mouth. To do that, literally a few minutes each day can expand your experience of presence. It imbues your life with such elegance and grace, and the love and the peace just starts to become part of your everyday experience. It's just how it is. It begins to cultivate that and nourish it. And then you've got moments of thinking, and then you come back to presence. And the more you enrich that presence, the more it becomes your regular way of being.
I heard in other videos that you have done that you speak about how there's a ninth wave that came in, and I have interviewed Dr. Carl Common in Seattle a week or two ago.
That was
so have you felt the frequency increase since the 9th of March? And how are you feeling right now? Are you much more sensitive now that you're in the heart?
Yes, and that's the reason why you're here. Totally, because look what's happening. I would have never imagined this experience in a million years either. So I just know the more I'm plugged in, and this ninth wave, I actually tried to explain it to somebody the other day, this group of men that said, what is this ninth wave? And then I was saying, hey, like passionately sharing about it, because I love what it's doing, that it's actually this really concentrated period of time where people are getting activated, in this intense, beautiful feminine energy rising from the Earth's core is just like activating so many people, whether they are consciously aware of it or not. But in speaking to this group of men, they were just like kind of, no, I don't understand, and deflecting it. And so there is something to be said for, this is something that you have to put your arms around. It takes something to kind of embrace this thought, this whole idea of this energy that's moving things around for us. But yet, as I'm noticing, personally, I feel more creative, more creativity is coming through, music is being recorded, connections are being made like this, that just this ninth wave is potent, and it's just calling me forth. It's really just saying, open now, fully, and go on your way, on your path.
So how do you create now?
Well, the first thing I'm doing is
how do you create? Like I would say, before getting into the specific, how do you actually create in life now? Being in the space that you are, to bring in manifestations, things that you want, or what is your relationship to that, to the creation?
So what do I do then to manifest, is what you're asking?
If you do something.
Oh yeah, it is, because it requires dropping out of the storyline that's disempowering anyway, that's saying I can't have it, or you don't even have the courage to dream. I was there for years. It was just like, that's too good. I can't think that big even about what I want to dream to have happen. So getting in nature is the first thing. Like I've got a favorite place here I'd love to take you to sometime when you come back, is the Makawao Forest Reserve. And oh my gosh, when I walk in, it's just like, you've arrived at heaven on earth, and the energy, the presence of the trees, and it's so luscious. And when I sit there amidst the trees and just listen in and tune into the environment, and I may have crystals with me. Crystals are beautiful in that they magnify the energy in the space. So it's at that point where I can just tune in to and express and send out little like beacons of what I wish for and what I choose to see, and how I wish my reality to look. And so it's just little things like that. It's so simple. It really is simple. It doesn't require a lot of fanfare or doing. It's a state of being and plugging into energy, just dropping in. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it feels like there is things that are coming, even without really us asking for anymore. It seems like we're more in the place of receiving now, the feminine energy, as you were saying earlier.
Yes, which is our natural inherent way of being. As women, we are receptive, and we're space holders, and we've been in the mode of doing, and giving, which is very masculine, And the reverse of that is just like, and to be that space of reception, and that's when things happen more, I think, naturally, because you're in your natural alignment with the feminine.
So tell us about love. Would you say that everything is love? Do you see love everywhere?
I do. It depends. Just like wearing this bindi here, a little stick-on, little speck of light. It's been bindied. I love that, really, because I love bindying women. I've been doing it for years, just adding a little light to the third eye, and it has you begin to see life newly in a different way. I believe that we are love. That when people say, I love you, we know that they love. I can say, I love you, Lilou, because I am love. Yeah. In other words, that's not a new agey, airy-fairy concept. It is, I am love, and therefore I can see love in you. I can experience loving you. And I have a sense that people kind of get caught up with trying to find love in somebody. Like, will you love me, please? And think it's love because they're in this sense of separation and aloneness, and we try to find it in something else rather than knowing that we are that already, and then it's just a reflection that comes to us. I often say that love doesn't necessarily look good or bad. It's not oh, that's good, so that must be love. It doesn't necessarily show up that way. It's going to show up in a myriad of ways. Sometimes love is saying no. Sometimes love is hearing no. Sometimes love is a knock over the head. It's like, oh, thank you for that ruthless compassion that you just showed me, because you needed to hear that, and it's done in love. And there's a difference between, lambasting somebody and being that ruthless, compassionate space.
Yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah. Beautiful. So I know you're stepping in this new space now of teaching and of being out there. You cannot keep this for yourself anymore.
It is just too exciting.
How is this unfolding?
It's unfolding in a number of different expressions, which is cool, because as a Gemini woman, I just have all these worlds of ideas and visions and desires to express in so many different ways, and it's starting to congeal for the first time, because I've often just let those ideas and visions swim out there in the ethers and wouldn't take the time to focus to bring it in. Yet it's requiring discipline and focus show up to match the creative desires and inspirations.
Yeah.
And now they're being realized, and it's through music particularly. I love musical expression. It's always been in my heart that when I express myself musically, my heart just goes, wow! Like it's megawatt. It's just, I can't describe it other than I know that there's a quality that opens people's hearts through sound. And
there's some Hawaiian sounds that you want to record?
Yes, actually, it's like, wow, I plugged in to the energy here, and then I heard these phrases come to me. One of them being kahea na wahine, which is a phrase in the Hawaiian language which means calling all women, or ulele uanawa, which is fly and be free. So I had this sense of combining these phrases with music, and then to put them on repeat, like to say them like Sanskrit mantra, where you just say them over and over, like kahea na wahine, kahea na wahine, kahea na wahine, and then add it in the musical element and begin to sing these things. And what it does is creates this kind of vortex of energy.
Yeah.
And so I noticed women on island, friends of mine, starting to sing my various little mantra, and it's creating this experience of like elevated consciousness, like higher vibrational field. And from here, we're on this island vortex, and by everybody lifting their vibration through the mantra, for example, it just goes like it shoots it out all across the world. We're in the middle of the Pacific, so it's amplified, like so it's really fun to know that music is the sound current.
Yeah.
Add in the water, and then with the intention, of course, that we reach people.
Well, beautiful. Is there something else that you would like to say that I haven't asked you, or that is important for you to say to people watching?
Yes, and that is...
we've got a juicy international crowd out here.
Woohoo!
Juicy people! All the juicy co-creators! Oh my God! I love energy on the island.
Yes, besides getting your buns in nature, which I think is like number one, numero uno, it is to... tapping. Okay, this is my greatest love. I lead women's circles on island. I created the Awakening Maui Women's Circle. And it started out with just 4 women showing up, and I was like nervous, like biting my nails, like, oh my God, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I just do it. So it was one of those things. I just put myself out there, and guess what happened? It grew, and word of mouth. And women started noticing this shift in how they engage people in life and what they're manifesting. And it's like, wow, this stuff really works. And it's as simple as using your fingertips, which I'm fond of using my hands anyway, so it's neat that a tool like this came to me that I'm now offering. And it's really, it's a series of tapping on certain points on your body. It's also known as EFT, but it's tapping on these points that allow for light, heat, light, and sound, which is what's going in as you tap. heat, light, and sound. And in doing so, it just distributes the energy right through your whole electrical system into your nervous system, and it begins to like deprogram. It hacks into old programming, things that where energy has been stagnant and protein bonds were formed in the brain to limit our possibilities and how we see life. You know, having an experience like sexual abuse, I've been there. And it had me lock into a program called I'm not worthy, life is dangerous, men are not good. It was just so many little programs that were disempowering, right?
Yeah.
They get stuck. So then by introducing tapping into my life in this heat and light and sound and letting the energy run through on its own, it begins to hack right into those old protein bonds and then dissolve that whole concept, the programming, like with ease, Lilou. It's like, it's seamless and graceful, and you just release, and there's no heavy-duty processing or talking about stuff or going, woe is me, and into the story. It's just like seamless. I call myself a shameless tapper, and I just tap whatever it is. If I'm at the grocery store and I feel like tense and I'm waiting in line and I start to get agitated, breathe, tap, and feel is my mantra. And it's really made a huge difference in my life. It really is. I credit it to really expanding my capacity to be in life and to retrain my vibration to accept good in my life. This is
bring it
critical.
on.
The medicine is at our fingertips, and I think women everywhere, men too, but get the sisters tapping, and wow, it's like something's happening. It's really, when we gather in the circles, by the way, it's not just for ourselves. We know that we're in a holographic universe. So as we're doing our work, and we call it real sacred work, and that we're united sisters with a real intention. So as we tap on our stuff, which all looks the same, it's all different flavors of the same thing, but we are affecting the global world, the level of consciousness and the awareness. We're increasing it each time we gather here on this island and tap for our lives.
Yeah, I'll be doing some interviews around here with Ho'oponopono as well, which is
awesome.
huge.
I love Ho'oponopono. I do that as well, like walking down or driving down the Hana Highway. You'll see the sugar cane was recently raised. I don't know if you know the difference, but it was beautiful willowy greens, and then all of a sudden they come in and raise them down, and it's just red dirt. And I felt sad, like, why do they just come and kill the beautiful plants, and then we inhale the smoke and the dust, and then they send it off to make sugar on a plant, and it's like, I said Ho'oponopono, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, just for man coming in and messing with nature.
Wow.
For me, that just felt sad. And with Ho'oponopono, such a beautiful Hawaiian gift to just level out the playing field, forgive the illusion, and just neutralize the energy. It's great.
And this is impacting the world.
It is.
This is a juicy conversation, and you're very juicy. So excited we got to meet and do this. Thank you.
Too.
Thank you.
I love you, Lilou, because I am love.
Much love, my beautiful co-creators. Bye-bye. From beautiful Maui. Is that how you say it? Maui. Because everything is Aui. Like,
except
Bye-bye. Next time on Big Island. Woo! Yep. Back here on the 19th.
Yes.